I'm Donna Meldon, Executive Director for the Holmes County Chamber of Commerce, and this is Chats with the Chamber Lady. And today's guest is Ben Tew. He is the Esto town clerk and also the organizer for the Two-Toed Tom Festival that's coming up soon. Welcome, Ben.
Thank you so much for having me, Donna.
I'm glad to have you, and of course, Ben, we work together. He's been a vendor. He has been a vendor in the past for our Down Home Street Festival, and that's how I got to know him. But you know what? We love our festivals in Holmes County, and you're organizer for the Two-Toed Tom Festival. So go ahead. I tell you what. Why don't you tell us about the legend of Two-Toed Tom?
Okay. Two-Toed Tom is such an amazing character, and he's a legendary creature, and he's a myth, and he's all about the South. I mean, the first stories we have is collected by a book called Stars Fell on Alabama by Carl Kramer. He did it for the University of Alabama back in the early 1900s, and Tom's legend is recorded there first, and it's about how this monstrous gator roamed the Alabama-Florida state line around the Florala and Geneva County area, and he was known to kill livestock, maybe people, maybe did some other bad things, and he was just a big monstrous gator. They said you could tell he was demon-possessed because he had red eyes. And I mean, there's lots of stories about how individual farmers and people tried to fight and get rid of Tom and run him off. But they say Tom was only ever caught once by a steel trap that caught his left front paw and took off everything but 2 toes. And that's how they knew when he did some bad stuff, because he left his distinctive tracks.
He left those tracks, didn't he?
Yep.
What about today? What do you think people's idea of the legend is today, and maybe how it's changed?
Well, I mean, the legend of Tom is so unique because it can be reinterpreted. It's about how people interact with nature, especially the unknown nature. And we think of today as a modern place, but there's still lots of parts of Florida and the South that are just not really explored. Mm-hmm. Places where there could still be big, large, monstrous alligators or bears or, local wolves and things that really could exist there and be a threat to people. And so we have to be aware and cautious about the nature and take care of that. Tom is said to have come to Esto after they ran him out of Alabama with a posse in the early 1900s. And he set up in Sand Hammock Lake, and that's where he lived for many years.
Well, of course, being a native Floridian, we know all about gators, and we all know in Holmes County about Two-Toed Tom, don't we?
Yeah, I mean Florida. The saying is, how there's a gator nearby, there's water nearby.
There's water nearby. They're in about every pond, lake, creek, river that we have in Florida.
It is true, and the last documentation we have of Tom's tracks was in the 1970s or 80s down on Boynton Island, which is down near Vernon in Trothatchee. So he spanned all across Holmes County. He is said to have wandered everywhere.
Now let's talk about the festival. We've got the legend.
Yeah.
So tell us about the festival. Now I know the festival. What year did it begin in Esto?
The festival started in the late 80s.
Okay.
The first one was in 1987. The town of Esto, the forefathers or the town people, wanted to create a festival to sort of bring a community spirit together. Mm-hmm. And they looked around and were deciding what to base a festival or event on. Mm-hmm. And they had a choice of either the legend of Two-Toed Tom or garlic.
So I know which one they went with.
Yeah,
now,
they chose.
Don't we?
They chose what I think is the much more interesting option. So yeah, the festival ran in the 80s and 90s for several years, and then like Tom himself, it sort of disappeared. But then it came back in the 2010s, from 2012 to 2015. A new version of the festival started, and it went for several years, and then it died down. And after COVID, I was determined to bring it back again. So we had the third version of the Two-Toed Tom Festival last year in 2024, and we're going to have the second year this year, and we hope this time it's here to stay because it does so much to help bring our community together like the original task was and goal for the festival, and to promote our town and to promote Holmes County and this wonderful legend of this amazing interesting mythological legendary creature that has a huge appeal. Tom was brought to national prominence this year. There was a video game released in April called South of Midnight, focusing on the legends of the South. And Two-Toe Tom was one of the video
Was
game
one of
characters in there.
those.
He was a big monster that, the players would fight, and they interpreted the legend of Two-Toe Tom completely differently for their version for the video game, in that he's a 20-foot tall albino alligator with trees growing out of his back.
Oh my
And so
goodness.
that's how a lot of new kids and things will see him and hear about him. And so that will just be another layer to the story.
Absolutely. Now, what's your favorite memory or story surrounding the festival?
Well, the very first Two-Toe Tom Festival, I remember it because my family was a little vendor at that festival. And my memory is that it rained buckets. It just came down like someone opened up the plug and pulled the drain out. But it rained so much, and everything had to be just moved into the community center, and everyone was just huddled there. There was Marlin Register, the old town clerk,
Remember Marlin?
telling stories, and there were people singing and cloggers dancing, and it was just a wonderful time. Even though it was a rainy day and it was crowded in, it was just a great event.
Ben, I did attend the festival last year, and it was so exciting to have the Two-Toe Tom back, and it would have never happened without all the work and vision that you had. So thank you so much for being instrumental in that.
Well, I'm just glad to do it because I think this festival shines such a wonderful spotlight on our town. It happens at the John Clark Park, which is a jewel of Esto. If you've never been out there, it's so wonderful and natural and relaxing. We have our pond with the walking trail around it, and it's just a great place, and it shows off Esto, and we hope it brings attention to us so that people want to come here, bring their families here, build businesses there. I think it's going to be a great promotional opportunity to help Esto grow and bring that attention that we need.
Ben, tell us some highlights of this year's festival. I know that y'all are hard at it right now.
We're gearing up to make sure that this year is so great. This year we're going to have a live gator experience. We have found a company and organization or a business down in Tampa called Croc Encounters, and they'll bring a live traveling show with full-size 8-foot-plus alligators that will be roaming in a big pen where people can see them, get right up close to them, and they maybe even be able to get pictures with them. They'll have all sorts of other reptiles and animals talking about them, doing demonstrations and shows about the wonderful things about alligators and what they do for our environment and how important they are and the history and how interesting they are.
Ben, you told us that the festival, of course, takes place at John Clark Park in Esto. Tell us, now it's always a certain day of the year.
Well, the festival has moved throughout the years, but now when we brought it back, we set the second Saturday in September. We think that's a good time. People are back, and hopefully it's a few degrees cooler
Yes, we
than
always
the
hope for
hottest
that.
summer. And we looked at calendars, the Farmer's Almanac, and that seems to be a sunny day usually. So we hope it'll be great weather every year, and it'll just be a great tradition going forward.
Tell us how the community can help with the festival.
Yeah, as we go and get closer to the festival, what we really need are vendors, sponsors, and volunteers. Vendors that want to be there and be part of our festival, speak to the community, have booths, provide a event or an attraction for people, businesses, organizations, all sorts of people. We have lots of room out there. We're going to have a car show, so if people have great old cars or antique cars, we'd love them to be part of that. So if people who want to be part of the festival that way, people who have businesses or want to support this project and help it grow and to be the greatest thing, help us get better entertainment, more activities for the festival. We need sponsorships and volunteers. It takes so much work to put on a festival like this.
Now, tell us about, is there admission price? What about the parking?
Now, there's no admission for the Two-Toe Tom Festival. Everything's free, but parking is a first come, first serve, and you got to get there early to get the good spots because John Clark Park is in the middle of sort of our residential district. So there's parking on the streets, and we have some parking at the park parking at the park, but it really, you want to make sure you get there early in the day so that you can get a close-in spot.
What kind of vendors and entertainment will you be having at the festival this year?
Like I mentioned, we're having a live gator show. Gator exhibits. They'll be doing 3 shows throughout the day. We'll have the car show. We'll have lots of vendors providing some great food, shopping, crafts, other entertainment elements. We'll have a kids zone with lots of inflatables for kids to play on and play around. And then we're going to have some live music. I think we're going to have some really great music acts.
Ben, thank you so much for being the organizer, but for caring about your town and the Holmes County community. We need more people like you here. I know that everything is going to go well on the second day of September, and we're just so thankful to have you today.
Well, it was wonderful to be here and speak with you.
And now, if anyone needs additional information about the festival, how to become a vendor, how to become a volunteer, where would they need to go, or where would they need to look?
We have our website, two-toedtomfest.com. That has some great info on there, or they can contact me at the Esto Town Hall. The phone number for there is 850-263-6521. Or I'm available at estotownclerk@gmail.com.
This is Donna Meldon, Executive Director for the Holmes County Chamber of Commerce. And just remember, if you need it, or you want to do it, Holmes County's got it for you. Thank you.